All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, September 9th. We're taking a look at NASDAQ this morning. Pretty straightforward approach for today. Yesterday closed as an inside day. So for today, we're going to be following the normal inside day protocol, which for me means watching the edge points of the prior day's range. So it's basically going to be 23,900, just rounding up a little bit for the prior day high to align with that level of interest. And then 23, what is that? 760 as prior day low. And the idea here is if price can show acceptance outside of the prior day's range, you want to be watching for a continuation of that move. So if price breaks the prior day high, you want to be looking for that buying continuation, that upside continuation, which would put us right into 24K, that all time high zone. And if the prior day low fails to hold as support, if we see a flush of the prior day low, we're looking at 650, 23, 650. That's the game plan for this morning. Pretty straightforward. We do have a 10 a.m. data print this morning. We do have PPI tomorrow and CPI on Thursday. So let's see what the market gives us here this morning. We have price currently sitting directly on 23,800. As a reminder, the backdrop is neutral. If we zoom out, what we're going to see is a big range, right? Big sideways range since late July. So I've been just trading sideways for more than a month now. More than a month. Range bound conditions. Let's change up this playlist here. What is this? There we go. All right, 5 minutes till the open. As always, you know the drill. We're just looking for that A plus opportunity. We're looking to follow our rules. We're looking to respect our trading rules. Remember, if we follow our process, if we respect our rules, that's a good trading day right there, regardless of outcome, regardless of P&L outcome. You want to be the trader who respects their process, who respects their rules, follows their playbook, right? Don't let your emotions lead you. Let your process lead you. Respect your stops, respect your position sizing, wait for those A plus opportunities. That really sets you up for long term consistency, long term profitability, which is what this is all about. It's what this game is all about. Consistency. Consistency, name of the game. So there's your 23,800 level of interest just tested a few minutes ago. You can see the increase in relative volume there as that level gets tested. It's also the prior day volume point of control. If I'm not mistaken, we have overnight low. Yeah, overnight low is just a bit lower, 790. Overnight action, pretty much sideways for the most part, and entirely within the prior day's range as well. So, not a ton to work with there. About 90 seconds till the open. So far, no trades for the bot this morning. The bot had a phenomenal day yesterday. Always good to see that. All right, so we've got the open here in a little less than 1 minute. Kind of in no man's land, right up against VWAP, right up against session volume point of control. All right, here comes the open. Let's see that open. Got an open right there at 835. 23, 835. Little push right off the open. Extended hour session volume point of control right in this area. Good volume off the open. Pretty typical. Gabe, Tradeify payout hit the Rise account. Congrats, man. Heck yeah. Post that up on the win wall. Nice work. Congratulations. And Q just bumping into that session volume point of control right here. Coming into session highs. Volume back into average. That most recent 1-minute bar volume's like 40% of average. Look at that. Session volume point of control, kind of keeping a lid on things right here, right near 23,850. That's value area high from yesterday. NQ into the lows. So pretty slow open. Volume's terrible. So I'm in no rush here. I mean, we're in pretty much in no man's land as well. Need some better trade location. Why is the volume so low? No idea. Could be CPI on Thursday. Could be the 10 a.m. data print later this morning. I do not know. It's also FOMC next week. So there's still a lot pending here in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, APT has filters built in. ES resolving higher. ES making a new high on the day. Personally, still cash. Nothing to do here. Nothing to do. NASDAQ back into the lows. There's your new low of day. Is that a new low? Looks like maybe a new low by a tick or two right there. 1 or 2 ticks. RTY pounding the lows. Fresh lows on RTY if you trade the Russell. Downside level on NQ is 23,800. Chop City right here. Opening 15-minute bar just closed. Pretty much a doji there. This might be a wait till 10 a.m. sort of morning. RTY is moving. Fresh lows on RTY. Personally, still cash. Can't do anything with this. So we wait. We wait. Wouldn't mind seeing some action down into this area. Five-minute showing just sideways barcode. Yeah, pure barcode. So wait till 10. Wait till 10 a.m. sort of morning. 10 minutes. 10 minutes to go. Happily cash right now. So far, it's a no trade day. So execution screen. NQ back into the lows. See if the lows crack. What is it you trade? NQ. NQ, new low of day, coming into 800. Strategy. I trade a handful of different strategies, all based on market structure. NQ coming into 800. Prior day volume point of control. A little uptick in volume right there. What days did I say I'll be gone? I'll be offline the 17th through the 26th. So Wednesday of next week through the following Friday. All right, about 6.5 minutes till 10 a.m. We do have that 10 a.m. data print. NQ not quite into 800 here. This is still in the middle. The 800 level of interest still pretty much in the middle of the, well, not completely in the middle, but close to the midpoint of the prior day's range. Quite a slow morning here. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate that. NQ new low of day. That's where it gets more interesting. At least you have a level of interest. Prior day volume point of control down there into overnight low at 790. Got ES marking a session low as well, coming into that overnight low. RTY just nonstop puking today. Nonstop. So that 800 overnight low area is going to be treating this as a 10-point zone. And 3.5 minutes till 10 a.m. Little bit of a bounce there from 800. No position personally, but good to see some response at the levels of interest as always. Still cash this morning. Still cash. Back in a session volume point of control. Des, you grab that short? Sam, I wanted a little bit lower there. That was a valid play. But like yesterday, I don't know if you're in yesterday's stream. Just want a little bit more. Because on that one, I want to risk about 790. So I may as well just wait and see if it'll give a little more depth. It did not, but it's all good. All right, here comes 10 a.m. We do have a data print incoming here. See if it gives any sort of move. So another little bounce from 800. Wow, ES up into session highs. Tested session high there. You got RTY back in overnight low and VWAP. NQ new low of day. Look at that volume coming in now. Was that the data print just now hitting? A couple minutes late, or a couple seconds late, rather. So now I want to see action above pretty much 805, 810 area. See if this area is going to hold after undercutting that overnight low. So far, it looks like nope. Good test of patience this morning. NQ new low of day. So if we see that overnight low flush, let's look at the prior day low, reaction down in a prior day low. Remember, yesterday's inside day. So the main levels, or rather the most significant levels with an inside day, are going to be the edge points. Prior day high, prior day low. At least we have some volume now. We'll take it. That is a plus. I'll test back into that 800. So now we want to see if that low is going to hold or not. Little rejection there at 800. So if the low's flush, look for that prior day low. Personally, I like to see it hold. I like to see that overnight low hold, action above 800. But I like to trade the longs. So what can I say? How's that profile looking? Oh man, that's not going to move for a while. RTH even shows volume point of control way up there still. So you do have a lot of volume down through here from yesterday. Value area low, prior day volume point of control, level of interest, overnight low. So some decent confluence through this area. Decent little bounce so far, not the cleanest. We got into the 50% fib. Session high to session low. See what happens here with the rest of this thing. Took a little heat on that entry. But like I said, I want some action above 805, 810 area. Yeah, I like to peel a little more off. There we go, 830. And now I'll go ahead and I'll put the rest with a trail slightly better than break even. Just in case we see a seller come back in here at VWAP and session volume point of control. If not, if we get a break of this 840 zone, probably see an intraday shift and potentially a more explosive move into session highs and beyond. So the idea on this long setup was 10 a.m. reversal time, give or take a minute or two, paired with overnight low spring setup, and then the benefit of the level of interest. This trade's a little trickier. I end up having to eat a little more risk than I would like just because I want to enter above the level of interest. So normally with an overnight low spring setup, I'll just take it once the overnight low is reclaimed. In this case, I'm going to wait till the 800 level of interest is also reclaimed. So it makes the structure wider, and then you have of course a wider risk point. Here comes NQ into session highs. So that's pretty much what you like to see right there. I lifted the trail to about just shy of 830. I like a clean break of the highs right here without too much retracement. So the idea panned out nicely. Not the cleanest action down there where I wanted it, but that's part of trading. See if we get a clean break of 850. Need a push right here. Need to get out and push. Come on. There's 850. Albert wants a little pullback. We need a big push, man. Gotta break this intraday resistance. I got my trail right here at 830. Let's see if it gets taken. Pretty much right below that red bar. ES made a new high of day. That's encouraging. RTY, check the rejection at that overnight low in VWAP. We mentioned it earlier. Really nice. Right down to final runner. Nice. Trail may get slapped right here. 82975 current trail. Not a bad trade given the current action. Action is terrible. Feel like so far we've made the most of it. The idea panned out nicely. Trail is just right there, a little bit lower. Hate to give back 20 points, but if we're looking for another 50 or 100 points of upside, it's worth it. All right. That's funny. Trailed out right there. What do we secure? About 30 points. Meh. That's all right. Given the action, given this morning's action, we'll take it. Price struggled with this little intraday resistance right there. Here you can see all the wicks through there. 850 area. Messy action this morning. It's just choppy, range bound, barcode, whatever you want to call it. Low volume. Nasty. Limited edge, at least for me. Not a lot of edge in this. This is the sort of action that used to just annihilate me. Man, I'd be getting crushed. So for me to be able to just take one trade this morning, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the win. We'll see if we get another setup. Wow, Crypticon, congrats, man. That's huge. That's huge. Enjoy. Next best thing is to walk away and don't give it back 100%, especially with this current action. Oh, while we wait for that next setup, as always, you want to get your trade logged, start that review process. If you don't do your trade review, that's okay. The market needs liquidity providers. So if you don't do it, I don't mind as long as you're not one of my clients, in which case that's not good. It's not a good look, you know? So make sure you're doing your trade review. But if you're just a casual and you enjoy donating to the market more than you like taking away from it, the review, you really don't need it, honestly. It's kind of overrated. So don't even worry about it. It's fine. Logged and done. Actively trade reviewing. There we go. Screen recording. Nice. That's next level right there. Yep. 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 That's like the next level right there. Nice. Screenshots. Solid. Solid. Yep. Good deal. Where did you two meet? My soon to be wife? High school. High school. And then we went separate ways for college and rekindled after college. So I've known her a while. I mean, we've currently been dating for 8 years. So the marriage is more of at this point it's more of like a formality, to be honest with you. Not much is gonna change. You didn't say I met in high school? That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like that's an uncommon story these days. High school in San Diego, yes, sir. Yep, yep, yep. Good old SD. NQ. Look at this chop. My goodness. Better to walk away while green rather than stressing for another setup. Heck yeah. Have a good day, man. Nicely done today. NQ, are we gonna have 2 consecutive inside days here? Got the next inside day coming up. We've not even left yesterday's value area. Not even exited the value area from yesterday. 785 by 858, 859. Your live streams go on all day for members? No, David. Nope. We usually go for the first 90 minutes to 2 hours of the sesh, and then that's a wrap. Right now they're all public. They're all available on YouTube, obviously. We're watching on YouTube, but in the future we'll likely move to uh some sort of private stream model. We'll see. Still working on that with Mish. Still hashing that one out. We do have a big update coming to the Traders Think Tank. So we're going to be opening up the trading mentorship group live sessions to standard Traders Think Tank members. So you'll be able to jump into the live sessions, but you will not have access to the recordings or the private mentorship group chat. That'll be reserved for the TMG members. But we will be opening up the live session. So if you can make the live coaching session, it's currently on Thursdays after the close. That's going to be a big value add for Traders Think Tank members. I haven't formally announced that yet, so you guys are hearing it first right here. But I'll send some info out on that later to the email list. And that first one will be this Thursday. So this coming Thursday. So I think that should be good. That should be good. It's usually a 90-minute session, 60 to 90 minutes, depending on how many questions we have. So getting Q back into 800, not really a setup I want to get involved with here. Right now, I'm looking at the edge points of today's structure, but mostly interested in the edge points of yesterday's range. How's everyone's morning so far? What are we at? 1 hour into the day? One hour in. So far for me, it's been a one and done. The main idea we talked about pre 10 a.m. was the overnight low 800 level of interest, a little bit of a spring setup there. I mean, if you look at today's action and the main move of the morning, that's pretty much it. We pretty much nailed it. So I like that setup. It's post 10 a.m. You have 10 a.m. reversal time, but more importantly, you have the overnight low spring, and then you have the benefit of the level of interest. So there's a lot of confluence with that setup. I did take a little bit of heat on my entry. We went over that earlier, but ultimately the idea panned out nicely. I thought that we would see a break of the session high there. And so I trailed a little more loose than I usually do. Otherwise, if I had expected that sell at 850, I would have just taken it off there, intraday resistance. But I mean, on a day like today, on a morning like this, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Trudove just lost connection. Mine's still good. I hope anyway. You see something I don't, Rich? Jason just passed your top step combine. Congrats. Heck yeah. It's huge. That is huge. Watch out for the classic eval to funded account there's something about I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, but there's something about going from the eval into the funded account where it can mess with you psychologically. I typically recommend like set up your XFA and just let it sit for a few days and kind of let the emotions kind of wear off a little bit, cuz I've seen that before and I've experienced it where you get right into that XFA and it's just bad news on like day 1. So, something to keep in mind anyway. Keep that risk in mind, set your daily loss limit. You don't want it so that you can blow the account in one day. So set a daily loss limit. NQ coming into session lows right here. Let's see if we flush the low and actually get a move down into prior day low now. Yeah, there's your new low of day. All right, so we're looking at reaction at prior day low. Get rid of that fib. Misha's limit lockers. Yeah, it's key. It's key. Set them. Make sure you set them. Mish set you up with a daily loss limit. Solid. Solid, solid, solid. Then when you set the daily loss limit, lock the risk settings so you can't mess with it. You can't tinker with it. It's an insurance policy right there. Lock your demons in a cage. Oh, exactly. Exactly, good sir. We're coming into prior day low 760. Let's see how it's going to be treated. Are we going to see a true inside day break here? There's our break, a prior day low. A little micro retest and breaks lower. Breaks lower. So we want to keep an eye on 760 here. It's prior day low. Remember, if we see acceptance beneath, you're looking at the next downside level of interest, which is down there at 650. It's kind of lying in the sand for buyers. Almost at 7K subs. Nice. Big unfilled gap through here from Friday's close up into Monday's open. 2 hours showing a much larger rejection underway. Let's see the hourly. Same with the hourly. See that 15-minute. Yeah, 15-minute too. 30. Good volume coming in. Prior day low breakdown. Good volume. So at this point, what I need is either 650 or market structure above prior day low. I would have looked at the spring setup. It did not materialize. So we're still just with the one trade today. Still just a one and done. One and done ski. Coming back in a prior day low. Start keeping an eye on the fib. You have ES sitting on the prior day low. That's actually pretty nice right there. See, that's what I like to see for a spring setup. Little look beneath, pretty much goes right away. Even the overnight low spring setup right there too on ES looks much better. Man, ES sometimes nice. That thing is nice sometimes. See RTY today. RTY just nonstop selling. I like this entry right through here. VWAP overnight low rejection. Pretty good signal. This whole cluster, good signals there. And RTY just into session lows. Get rid of that. NQ, we're getting back in a prior day low. So let's see. Mr. Goody and YM. What am I looking at here, man? YM. Oh, VWAP. I don't think that's as clean as RTY. Is it? Noodle slapper. RTY looks better to me. That's what makes a market, though. So NASDAQ, a little test and reject there. Prior day low so far. Test and reject. New low? Not quite. There you go. New low. New low, new low. NQ trying to confirm that inside day breakdown. All right, Ray. Take care, man. Have a good one. Nothing good comes from me now. Yeah. Well, once you recognize that, good time to shut it down for sure. Misha's short. I'm chilling. Chilling with my one trade. Definitely still monitoring that prior day low. See that 5-minute doji? A little rejection there. Again, it's probably what, your 20, 3% fib. Let's bring that back. Yeah, right there. Right there. What I'm looking at is this 5 minute. And really what I'd like to see is some kind of something like this. If not, I'll look down here. NQ back into that prior day low. More interesting now. All right, Dave, take care, man. Nice work. How we doing for time? We have 10 minutes till 11. So yeah, with NQ here at prior day low, be keeping an eye on things until at least 11. The show goes on. Another rejection there. There's our profile building. Yeah, we got some volume building out down here. Again, looking for that structure above prior day low. Still beneath. Still beneath. Still just with that earlier trade. Okay, another little look above prior day low. Nice little push right there. Oh, back coming back in an overnight low, kind of into that previous intraday, previous structure low here. A decent one for the Propzilla. Prior day low reclaim. Not clean enough for the SF. Not clean enough for the self-funded. That's what prop accounts are for. At least for me. There we go. Lift the trail. NQ looking above that 50% fib overnight low coming into 800. That's our level of interest, right? So we trail a little bit tighter. Yep. 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 See if the trail gets taken. I like a clean break of 800 and I'll trail tighter. Break above the level of interest. You got 61% fib right through there. You got VWAP right in that area, but so far just a little bit of a rejection at 800. I'm going to lift that trail ever so slightly. Basically target. Need a push. Push. Mish. You out there? We get a push right here? Nah, it's a rejection. Did not end up seeing that higher low. Or that market structure, rather, that I wanted to see. I was a little worried about that one. So grabbed the long, more of like a reclaim of prior day low with the XFA. Oh, Misha's shorting. All right. All right, noted. Noted. Here's trail. Here's the trail. Oh, ah. Trail's just barely holding on. Look at that. Here it is. Oh, to the tick. Oh my goodness. We're coming into 11 a.m. I can't imagine this trail holds on. I mean, it is so far, but wow.
Order filled.
There it is. Trailed out. That's not bad. Oh, look, you got to be kidding me. Mish, did you do that? Oh my goodness, man. Uh, little 20-point pop right there. Literally the second after the trail. Did not resolve higher though, so it's all good. That was insane. That was insane. If wow. It's crazy. I was debating on it would have been taken anyway. I was debating on moving it just a tick below 85, but it would have been taken right there anyway. So all good. We'll take that. The idea there was long on the prior day low reclaim. I don't like that sort of setup for my personal self-funded account simply because the structure is going to be quite wide. It's a little too much risk for me in the cash account. So we just pass on it in the cash account, still just with the one trade there, and that's what I have the props for. So we have the props for little kind of lower quality setup, B plus setup, like to deploy. In this case, the XFA. I've been just kind of cycling through props, trading the XFAs today. Yesterday we were trading the Lucid straight to funded accounts, and it helps to kind of spread risk around that way. They're targeting me directly. I doubt it. I doubt it. From a structural standpoint, though, pretty clean rejection there of the 800 level of interest, fib sell zone, overnight low. Good volume, too. Pretty nice morning. I think the theme this morning is just kind of slowing down, taking things slowly, letting that setup come to you, not forcing anything in the choppiness, right? Really letting it develop, letting price show you that path of least resistance. And we get back in a prior day low. Remember we talked about the 5 minute, keeping an eye on the 5 minute. So you have the pretty clear sell bar right there, right? And then 5 minutes shows a doji that's indecision, but it can sometimes indicate some reversal. You get a little follow through up above that doji's high, and then some continuation back into the level of interest and prior day volume point of control. We also know the overnight low is right through there as well. I saw Tradeify is bringing Project X into the mix. I think this Friday. It's pretty cool for those of you that like Project X. Tradeify's in my top three prop firms personally. It's TPT, number one, Top Step, then Tradeify. And Q coming back in a prior day low. If there's any sort of reaction through here. 760 is the level. A pretty clean rejection of the 800 level of interest on the 5 minute. Look at that. Shooting star right there. I mean, it doesn't get much cleaner than that. Does not, does not. I didn't even realize the bot was in that next short right there. That's really nice. Good to see. Not look like much of a bid here at prior day low. We'll keep an eye on it. Had an attempted inside day breakdown right here. A retrace into the fib sell zone. A lot of confluence through here for the short. Level of interest overnight low. We talked about all that. Now we're getting back into this area here. So, like I mentioned earlier, prior day low is kind of the line in the sand before this major zone down through here. So it's kind of what we want to see. A little bit of a bounce there. A little bit. Looks better. Looking better. Getting into that target. Already peeled some off. The XFAs, I like to just trade 3NQ. Not quite enough to move that stop into profit just yet. See if it gets taken right here. I'll put it one tick below 50. Now price can kind of break this little 77, 78 area, which is 38% fib. Be a good time to kind of lift that stop just into profit. Price will be almost halfway into the target there. Just targeting the intraday structure point. You got the overnight low 800 level of interest right through that area. We've been talking about it. Look at the 5 minute, kind of shows a little bit of a hammer there. Doesn't really matter until it shows some follow through, some confirmation up through the high, but I like that 5 minute closure. Talking about that candle right there. No, you can't see it. My bad. There it is. There you go. So like I said, once it breaks that 77, 78 area, Really, we want to lift the trail. Just kind of right there. Protect ourselves. Price gets into the target. And the reason I do that is because I'm a big believer that risk is dynamic. So basically, if we have a trade that looks like this initially, what happens when price gets up here if I don't move the stop? So now I'm going to risk 33 points for an additional 9.5. I know a lot of traders do that, but that does not make sense to me. I never do that. So as price proves me correct, as price kind of moves in the direction of the move, I'll start to lift the trail. Start to lift the trail. So we go from a 2.5R trade, right? And if I do nothing, remember, if I do nothing, if I left the stop down here, then right now we're in a 0.5R trade. Risk is not static. Price is always moving. Your risk profile is always it's always updating. It's always changing. So if we get a break of the 85s here, I'll lift the trail just beneath 75. No, this is not a signal stream. I talk about the ideas. If you're paying attention, you can pick up on it. If you're looking for signals, this ain't it. Never has been, never will be. But thanks for tuning in. See if we get a break of 85 right here. There you go. So now you lift the trail. And notice how we let the structure build, let that kind of microstructure build out. Path of price, path of price. There it is. Let's get that target. So into 790 is basically overnight low. That's where it gets a little dicey, a little shaky. Because what do we keeping with the kind of same theme I was talking about a minute ago with risk is dynamic. I have an additional 5 points of upside that I'm looking at, which means I have to give back, you know, 15 points of downside here. So again, my risk profile is not it's not super favorable here, but we'll let it work for now. Not surprised to see a little bit of selling here, considering overnight low is right there. It's also the 50% fib. There you go. So you have a potentially another little micro higher low right through here. So I'll lift the trail. Oops. Lift the trail right there. Boom. And see if we can get a clean break right now up through this area. Yeah, NQ really struggling with that overnight low. Happy to have lifted my trail. See if it gets taken.
Order filled.
There's the trail. Simple as that. Simple as that. We might just call it there. Again, to recap the idea, looking for some market structure based entry at the prior day low. Came right through here. Buyer step in, get the push. Really targeting kind of up into this area. That's where I had my target. But like I said, we're gonna lift the trail with those micro structures as price kind of proves me correct. So that was a pretty solid trade there. Happy with that one. About 2 hours into the trading day. How's everyone's morning so far? How are we looking? Currently 3 for 3 personally. We did one in the self-funded personal account, right? That was our overnight low spring setup. And we've done 2 trades at the prior day low in the XFAs. Yeah, spot on, Rich. Volume's really fallen off here. Get that. Don't love that. Got the 740 long. Nice work. That's a good entry. Closed out after a few good trades. Yeah, that's a good call. Smart. Smart. Let's see how this next 30-minute candle closes, and then we'll probably call it a morning after that. I don't love this volume here. I'm starting to approach lunch hour. Also kind of a difficult location as well. There's a pretty large area of confluence right through here, big pivot. You have a level of interest, fib cell zone, intraday structure, VWAP, overnight low, prior day volume point of control. So I don't want to really mess with anything through there. Looks like my trail was a good call. Mish talking about the bot. Let's see it, man. Let's see what the bot is doing. The bot is nice and green right now. What are you talking about? What are you worried about? What are you worried about, man? Here's the bot. There's the bot for you. All automated. Currently short NQ. Look at that trade from earlier. I mean, that's nice. That's a nice short. My goodness. Even if this one, so it already locked some profits on this trade. Even if this one hits the stop, still be green on the day. Gotta love automation, man. Those are fully automated executions right there. Hands free. I don't gotta love anything. uh, I don't know. The bot may get stopped out, but the bot is not about any one trade. That's what we got to remember. I know it's fun to look at, but it's about a large sample size. Large sample size. You're tilted in bot's name? Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Are you going to override it? Or are you going to let it work? uh, yeah, that's automation for you. Hands free execution. If you want to check it out, there's the link right there in the chat. S- Still in pre launch. It needs some discretion. You're down to $155 in your bank account, and I have 3 combines that are 50K. Man, it sounds like you need a job, honestly. A job would be good. You need some other sources of income. I mean, that's just the real. I'm not trolling or anything. That's for real. Trading should not be a primary source of income until you've proven your system. That's a recipe for disaster. Just facts, Rich. Yes, sir. All right, so we'll let the bot do its thing. Let the bot do its thing there. NQ, we got some barcode here on 5 minute. So let's see this next 1 minute. 1 minute bar, 30-minute candle is going to close. Currently a doji. That's probably a wrap on the day, honestly. That's probably a wrap. Start to clean up this chart. There we go. Can the bot be used on MNQ? Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think we call it right there. I think that's a wrap for this morning. And look at this barcode. Volume's not even there. I mean, at least a little bit earlier we had I mean, orange is still average, but at least we had a little bit of better volume. This is terrible. So, if you're going to be trading late morning, I would be keeping an eye on three different levels: prior day low, 800 level of interest, and then prior day high. I'm most interested for today in the prior day edge points, which means prior day low. So we're talking about this right through here and prior day high. And the reason is because yesterday was an inside day. So far we have a failed inside day breakdown. Let's see if our seller's going to kind of step back in here and try again. Are we going to get a break up above 800? Maybe find some longs through there and then a little session high, kiss of the prior day high. I have no idea. No crystal ball, right? I just react to whatever market structure and price is showing me. Keeps life nice and easy. Good stream today. 3 for 3 on my end. We did the one overnight low spring setup in the personal self-funded account, and then the two trades in the XFAs, both versus prior day low. Hope you guys had a good morning. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank as always. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow morning for tomorrow's stream. Have a great rest of your day, folks. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you soon.